What started as a single visual novel has turned into a billion-dollar franchise, with more media than any sane person can wrap their head around. The Fate series has been infamous for how confusing it can get. Uncountable YouTube videos, articles, Reddit threads, all explaining how to even begin your journey in this mad, convoluted world. And it's not all overblown either, just look at all this. And if the watch order wasn't messy enough, the sheer amount of lore, timelines, and characters packed in this one world is overwhelming enough for any newcomer to move on with their lives without even giving this series a chance. I was this newcomer for the longest time, until Fate's Strange Fake started airing, and now I can proudly say I'm finally on the Fate hype. Because this series allows you to completely ignore all the complicated lore and rules of previous renditions and just directly jump into the spectacle that is the Holy Grail War. Not because all that is not relevant to this war, it very much is, but as the title suggests, this war is a strange take on the original concept. If the original Feuki Wars were perfectly structured events, this war is nothing more than a broken imitation. It is not even a legitimate war. A group in the US tried replicating the Feuki system but couldn't fully copy it. This leads to the war breaking out into madness and drifting far away from what it's meant to be. In a normal Grail War, there are 7 servant classes. In this, for the first half, there were only 6, and now there are 13. And obviously, instead of Japan, this war takes place in the United States of America. And the show rubs it in your face. There's McDonald's, guns, slavery, guns, the Gap, guns. The American setting forces the story to be extremely political. Unlike Fate Zero or Stay Night, all the efforts to cover up the war and keep it away from legal authorities are of no avail. Right from the first episode, you see police actively investigating the incidents, local authorities responding to the supernatural disasters, and even the US government is aware of the war. This is not a normal Holy Grail war, so it constantly keeps breaking its own rules and regulations, which allows you to still enjoy the war without fully following every little detail. Cause the show ain't following them either. You still might be confused by all the terminologies in the show, but one YouTube video later, you can finally experience Faith in its full glory, and there is no better word to describe this experience than epic. Everything in the show is presented in the grandest and most extravagant way possible. The cinematic fights, godlike powers, and explosive animation, all brought together by Sawano's orchestral music. Not a single element in the show is subtle or faint, including the characters and their personalities. Every character enters the war driven by their own unshakable convictions. For some, everything is on the line. For others, it's nothing more than a drama. Some fight to preserve their lineage, while others thrive on chaos itself. Jester embodies that chaos with his unhinged insanity, while Flat, with his naive demeanor paired with actual strength, becomes a true wildcard. You never know what he'll do next. And then there's Gilgamesh, my favorite. His overwhelming sense of royal superiority is so excessive, it almost becomes funny. I mean, just listen to the way he talks.
Mongrel, I will allow you to answer my question.
These are really overpowered and fun characters, which is why they keep you engaged in the story with not just their fights, but also the anticipation of potential matchups that runs throughout the season. And their ties with real-world history and mythology add another layer of depth, making them feel even more compelling. Talking about the fights themselves though, I truly believe we are living in the golden age of animation. I mean, we're pushing the limits of this medium basically every season. Just in winter we have got Jujutsu Kaisen and Frieren just absolutely setting a new standard for action animation, and Fate's Strange Fake does not fall back. Some of these sequences are genuinely mind-blowing. But good animation can only bring you so far, which is very far, but to truly stand out, you gotta be unique. And the way the series achieves that is by sheer ridiculousness. You see my wife parkouring across flying debris on a horse. Yeah, shit gets insane. I think my only real problem with the show is the lack of a clear path for the story to go on. It just keeps switching from one random event to another with seemingly no connection. We don't even have a set main character or duo to follow, making the overall plot progression another confusing bit about the show. Though after a bit of digging, it turns out this isn't something unique to Strange Fate. It's actually a common trait across the Fate series as a whole. You kind of end up choosing your own main character, which makes the story tough to follow, but it's still part of the fun. Personally, I found myself gravitating toward Ayaka, because in this world filled with demigods and kings, Ayaka offers a more personal, human POV of the war. On surface, she's as plain as they get. She doesn't have much personality and is just scared and annoyed by everything. But the more the show explores her character, the more you realize she's kind of like a mirror, reflecting how you and I would play out this war if we were somehow a part of it. She's just a regular human with no desire for the Holy Grail and its powers, but has been wrapped up in this mess against her will, leaving her feeling isolated and unconfident, understandably so. What can she possibly do against any of these maniacs? But seeing her slowly accept the situation and try to navigate through these incidents is sometimes even better than the godly fights. And her dynamic with Richard is easily the best master-servant relationship in the series, because it goes beyond a simple transactional contract where they both work together solely for their personal motives. Richard gets a chance to truly live again while he helps Ayaka grow stronger and more confident in herself. They genuinely support and uplift each other. I am really excited to see where this duo goes in season 2 and the overall story as well. I personally believe this season, despite how good it is, was only a setup for something even greater that will far surpass this season. Although we might have to wait a long time for it. I mean, it took more than 2 years just for this season to come out after the hour-long prologue episode that got released in 2023. I guess let's wait and see. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you all liked it. If you did, then please subscribe, like, and comment down any other anime you recommend me to watch this season or the next one. But apart from that, be safe, be nice, and I'll see you guys the next time. Goodbye.